need someone to talk to and you don't know what to do, call us 214-4400 when you're feeling all alone and they turn their back on you. Call us 214-4400. Call us 214-4400. Call us 214-4400. Call us.
You're listening to the Kind Counseling Podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now back to the show. Welcome to the Kind Counseling Podcast, y'all. It's been a while. It's been a while. But we got the crew back together here. Got a couple guys, familiar faces, and today we're gonna have an interesting conversation, this discussion about the recent Diddy documentary that came out. And some people might be saying, well, why are you doing it? Why are you even talking about this? It's a heavy subject or bad things happen. But there's a lot of things related to mental health, right? Just in terms of what led to somebody acting like this. Why would people stay in this situation? How come nobody said anything? So there's a lot that's related to mental health in this particular situation. So today we're just gonna talk. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some serious conversations. Whatever happens, happens. But how y'all doing today, man?
All right.
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
Okay, all right. So for you guys, what was what was your initial reaction when after you saw the documentary or while you were watching the documentary? Like, what stood out to you? Now, anybody can jump in.
I mean, I can go first if you like.
Okay.
Anybody, no matter. Good.
I'll go first. I guess I just watched it because you saw it was buzzing around, so I was like, all right, let me see what this is about. None of it to me was very surprising or really made me think that, oh wow, I was so shocked at any of the information that was put out in the documentary. I honestly don't think it was a very well done documentary, and I'm a documentary guy. I think that it was kind of one-sided, so that didn't make for good information. I think it would have been good to still have two sides of the story. So I felt it was kind of biased. Not that I support or agree with anything that Diddy did, but it seemed like it was coming from one side, just kind of pointing a finger at him. But either way, again, not agreeing or condoning any of his behavior. The one thing I do say that stood out to me about the entire documentary, and I haven't seen a lot of people speak about it, is it seemed to me like things really took a turn for the worse for him when he started the opioids. Once he had cut his wrist and got on to the drugs, I think that made his behavior even worse. Not that it was any good before, but it seemed like that kind of enhanced some of his demons he already faced. His behavior towards the end, me watching that and knowing addicts and being around addicts, watching his behavior towards the end of the actual prepare for trial, to me it seemed like he was a complete addict and he was addicted to heavy opioids. It seemed like just the way he was acting, the way his eyes looked, just staying up all night. So that seemed like, like he was highly addicted to opioids. Now the opioids is kind of, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Dope Sick documentary or things of those nature. Opioids is something that kind of leads you down a crazy path because then it opens up the door for heroin and meth and ecstasy and all that because it's very hard to get off of opioids, right?
Right.
For me personally, I've had surgery before and I had to take Percocets, and then when they weaned me off of that, it was like very hard, just dealing with that. So to me, it seemed like he was a complete opioid addict. That's what stuck out the most to me out of the entire thing. But everything else to me, it was like, this isn't you. I mean, I think I've mentioned it to you before, Cammy. Like, I remember the Locks and them talking about Diddy's behavior in 2000 when they dropped We Are the Streets. I remember rumors of Diddy's behavior for years upon years. So a lot of that behavior wasn't shocking to me. The whole thing about him being involved in Biggie's death, that's been rumored for years. And him being involved in even Tupac's death, that's been rumored for years. The stuff even with Kim Porter, that's been rumored for years of his behavior with her and how he treated her. And then the whole Cassie thing and all of that. So none of that to me was kind of like, oh, this is new.
Mm.
the biggest issue I have with a lot of people that are now saying something is, well, why weren't you saying something then? Or were you benefiting from the behavior then? So you were being quiet because you were had some financial gain,
Mm.
which is kind of sad. But in our culture, we have this weird idolatry when it comes to entertainers, whether it's music entertainers or sports entertainers, where we put them on a pedestal and we kind of prop them up so much that their behavior, we kind of look the other way and it's like, oh, well, they're rich or they're powerful. Let them continue to do all this madness that we know a lot of them are involved in. But that was my biggest takeaway was the switch. It seems like he kind of switched because remember they talked in the documentary that he didn't drink or he didn't use
Right.
drugs.
In the beginning, right.
And then after he had gotten that cut on his wrist or whatever, he was on opioids, and it seemed like now he was like a complete alcoholic and completely dependent on drugs also. So that's what I
Okay.
thought was interesting. One of the interesting parts that stood out to me the most.
All right. Fred or Deshaun, either one of you guys can go.
Uh, I thought the documentary was entertaining. A lot of the stuff we had heard over the years, I mean, going back even to the 90s, believe it or not,
Right.
about his uh, potential or alleged homosexual relationship with these guys to get him into the business. I've been hearing rumors since the 90s about how he got put on. So
Mm.
that wasn't surprising to me, and seeing the relationship with him and what was the guy whose house he moved into? Uh, not Stout, but
Like,
Andre Harrell.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that relationship wasn't surprising because I'd heard about that a long time ago. Uh, his behavior, the parties, those rumors, like Brother Al said, have always been around. What I found interesting was the information about his childhood,
Mm.
his after his father died, and what his mother had to do to basically make ends meet, and the entertainment that she was providing to people, those house parties that she was having. We can infer that he saw a lot of the things that he ended up doing
Right.
in his own house as an adult.
Right.
Okay. And if there was physical abuse on top of the sexual abuse, even if he wasn't molested, just having a child witness this type of adult lifestyle it's sexual abuse, right? Um, so it was inevitable that he was going to, unless he found the Lord or got some serious kind counseling, he was going to find himself living this lifestyle. And then the
Mm.
other thing that people don't realize, if someone is a criminal or a degenerate, if they have money, they're just going to be a degenerate or a criminal magnified, right?
True.
So unless he got help, he was just going to be that same guy, but it was going to be exponentially worse because he had the money to protect himself. As far as the victims, and it's interesting to hear all the people's stories, but I think Brother Al made reference to this. Uh, you were there for a long time
Right.
and you saw this happen to other people. It only became an issue when you yourself were victimized, right? So
Mm.
I think people were hanging around because it benefited them, whether they were going to get put on as far as the album or notoriety, they were going to get money, they had a job, to travel, whatever it was. Everyone hung in there because he was their basically their bread and butter. And until it
True.
hit home, it didn't really matter. So I don't have much sympathy for the people who are crying because I know they saw a lot more than they're probably willing to share on screen.
Mm. All right. Deshaun, you want to jump in?
Yeah, first of all, Brother Allen and Brother Fred made some great points. I just want to say that, Rev. But what stuck out to me the most is how he really disrespected his talent that he had. The people who made him
Mm.
millions, I
Mm.
don't understand how you did that to Crack Mac. He had a number one song, and you chose to not even, you know, give him the money that he was deserved. A lot of things stood out, but I just didn't understand why you would just treat your talent so bad. Like I didn't understand that point. Like you know what I'm saying? These people were making you millions, and instead of you like, and one thing I really didn't like, I didn't like how once one person get power, we choose to treat each other so bad. Like
Mm.
why? Like I
Mm.
didn't understand that part. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I think the same thing happened with Suge. He was treating his people. Like I don't understand why once we get a certain amount of power, we choose to like say forget about everybody else. And the one thing that stuck
Right.
out to me was one of his artists in Dirty Money. the girl, she needed like 5,000 because she was having a custody battle with her
Right,
husband,
right,
and he couldn't help her out.
right,
But then when the other one from there came,
right,
made a, he asked her to make a statement, and I'm like, you have to be so narcissistic to
right,
actually do something like that. And I
Mhm.
just
right.
thought that was completely crazy and bogus. But that's a couple of things that stood out to me.
Yeah, so all right, so do you guys feel like somebody's to blame here? Like, I mean, is it him for doing what he did to people, for people allowing this to go on for all these years? Like, is there
Well,
somebody to blame? Yeah.
no, I feel like black people. No, not black. I felt like people were gonna be blackballed if they was gonna speak up. I understand that they were making a certain amount of money, but even some people who did try to speak up, it went on deaf ears because, like you said, other people didn't care. Other people was getting paid. Other people didn't want to hear that because he was one of the top artists at the time. So it's like it is what it is.
Hmm.
So you could be caught. They be like, we don't care. I just felt like all this happened to Diddy once he sued those billionaires for his DeLeon liquor, and I think
Wow. Well,
I think that's when he won that lawsuit. All of a sudden, all this stuff came out, and it
hmm.
lets you know don't go against the masters because they will put you down.
What, Fred or Alan, what y'all think?
Well, that's interesting that Deshaun said that, right? Because somebody had to pull that plug eventually. If this has been going on for years, there's people that know this, right? Like you were saying, people in power that know this stuff. So maybe there is something to what he's saying with that. Maybe the powers that be said, all right, enough is enough, and we're ready
Right,
to get you out of here. But I
Mhm.
mean, we've known if we look through a lot of these powerful rich people, a lot of them are into a lot of this stuff. So, you
that too.
know,
Right,
we do may have to kind of think about it that way also. I just don't like the way we as a culture we put these people up on these pedestals all the time, man. When it comes to, entertainers and athletes, well, athletes are entertainers, right? So I,
right,
and then we look at them like they're the pillar of our community. They're the
right.
best that we have to offer when we've got, stand-up people in our community that are actually doing good work, whether it's coming to doctors, teachers, whatever the case, but we kind of push them to the side and we'll run to the entertainers like
Mhm.
they're the model of our society and the model of our culture. And unfortunately, that never seems to go well for us. If I mean,
No.
you look through the majority of people that we glorify in our culture, I mean, something always tends to happen. I think we got who's left? You know what I mean? Jay-Z maybe, and 50 said he coming for him next too. So I mean, and he said 50 and
Oh,
Tyler Perry, he working on two documentaries for them. So
right.
I mean, and
I mean,
then
listen.
it's interesting, Cam,
Mhm.
because we had that conversation. We were like, well, who's behind 50 with the funding that's given him to do this stuff
Well,
also? You know what I
well,
mean?
that's the question, right? Fred, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, I'm not going to vouch for anybody. We don't know these people, right? I don't.
True.
Yeah, I love Sade's music. I can't vouch for her, right?
Who?
Sade,
Sade.
I
I mean,
said,
Sade.
I like Sade was in the
no,
documentary.
she's not. But what I'm saying is, like, we all have celebrities that we love, whether it's an
Right,
athlete, a musician, an actor, right? I'm not vouching for you. I don't know you. I don't know
right,
your personal life. You don't know me. All I know is what you do on TV, right? And I can make a judgment based on those snippets of video clips, but that's it. But when those people were outside of the courthouse defending P. Diddy as if he was the second coming,
right.
it was absurd. I'm not going to defend anybody, period.
That's a
um,
problem with the culture. That's a problem with American culture, though. We
what's
do it
Mhm.
with
that?
everybody. We glorify politicians, we
Yep,
glorify
yep.
artists, and
So,
people stand up and they say, "Oh man, they're the best person in the world," and it's kind of like you said, dude, you don't even know this person. You don't know what really goes on once their doors are
No,
closed and what they're really
no.
like. You just know what you see in front of a camera when it's action. So.
And listen, there's
well,
something to be said that the old adage, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right?
right,
I mean, if we were given that same power that P. Diddy had, we'd like to say we're not going to be that guy, but we don't know, right? This is not to defend P. Diddy or any of these other men or women who abuse their powers. But what I'm saying is there
right.
is something to be said about having a lot of money, a lot of power, and not being held accountable by any entity because you can protect yourself. You have attorneys to protect you, right? You have a system that's going to protect you. I mean, how long can you do that? I mean, how long does it take before you lose your mind if you have that much power over, I mean, at this point, we're talking about literally millions of people have loved P. Diddy and his products for the past 30 years.
Mm. Well, all right. So for me, I'm not saying this has never happened before, but I was looking at it as also this is the first time I've heard about men being taken advantage sexually, like meaning public conversation about it. I'm not
Right.
saying it never happened, but I mean, we all know the music industry's been shady from day one, right?
Mm.
So, but does this make the situation different because men were being taken advantage of? Because I think when women are involved, it's almost like everybody just kind of turns a blind eye and it's like you're not expected, but it's more common than as opposed to hearing men being violated. What do y'all think about that?
I think there's certainly the male aspect adds to the sordidness. But I think what makes it most appealing is we practically grew up with P. Diddy because we're all
Right,
around the same age,
right.
right? We've been listening to his music for a long time. I mean, I think about when, uh, What's the 411 came out.
Hmm.
That's 1991. That's 34 years ago. We grew up with this guy. So it's like in our minds, in our twisted minds, we think that we know these people. We know Craig Mack, we know Biggie, we know Tupac, right? Because we were all around the same age, and these major events happen at a very pivotal time in our lives, right?
Mm,
So we feel like, okay, well, this is crazy because I know this guy, even though we don't, right? And I think
Right.
that's what makes it most appealing. If this happened to Woody Allen, although as interesting as the Woody Allen story is,
Hmm.
I don't care about. I've never seen a Woody Allen movie.
right.
He's significantly older than me. Culturally, we're in a completely different plane, right? It's just not the same thing. I mean, think about Bill Cosby, who's significantly older. He could be our grandfather, but we grew up with him and the things that he created. So I think
Right.
part of it is the familiarity that we have with what
Mm,
these people have brought to our society and our culture.
mm. That's a fair point. That's
But
a fair point.
I don't think it's kind of weird that every powerful black person always has a downfall. If you look at it, you got your Michaels, you got your Jordans, you got your Tysons, you got your Oprahs. It's. I don't. Is it a coincidence or is this? Well, Oprah had that abortion when her sister told. So and that was a little downfall, and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" But that's back then, you know. And then also, it's just I don't know. I just find it
Well,
kind of ironic that.
I guess it's like the same we talked about before, right? So how did the question is also how did these I ain't trying to get into a conspiracy theory, but how did these black people even get into power to begin with? Into
Right.
powerful positions, right?
Hmm.
So, some people think that they're gatekeepers, like to keep other black people in
Hmm.
under control, so to speak, right? So I don't know, man. I mean, I guess just getting back to the question though, was that shocking though? Like to hear that men were like getting what's the Fred? Give me a word.
Raped.
Raped.
Let's try raped.
Getting drugged and raped.
Hey,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah. Oh.
we've had this conversation, Cammy, and like I said, I remember when the Locks left Bad Boy. And they had a skit making fun of Diddy, and it went Raping You Records. That was in 2000. And they said, first we're gonna rape your marketing, then we're gonna rape your publishing, then we're gonna rape you next. And that was a big shot straight at Diddy. So,
Hmm.
I mean, we knew
No,
that
no,
that
no,
was right?
no, no.
They
I
knew it.
think Right, I think what I'm saying is like, okay, so I think most of us heard of like the casting couch, and you gotta do
Mhm.
certain
Right.
things to get on and all that, right? But when you see like guys who you think are like hardcore guys, like they street guys or whatever, they portray themselves that way, that they're doing that like to get on. I think that was kind of like out there to me anyway.
Well,
Well,
the hip hop industry, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say, forgive me, Deshaun,
no, no.
it's based on a fallacy,
Mm,
right? Like, look, I mean, we can go back to the 80s, right? It's very machismo. It's very misogynistic, right?
mhm.
It's about making money. It's about
Right.
being a man.
Right.
That's that the concept of homosexuality, which we know, would be stupid not to believe that it's always existed in the hip hop culture, right? It just those two concepts clash. So it was never going to be acceptable until now, because I think now the fact that people are coming out, I think we have as a society a less homophobic culture, generally speaking, than we did 30 years ago,
Right.
even in the
But
rap game.
but you saw how Grandmaster Flash used to dress, right? Yeah, I saw like they were really they were really
That's
flamboyant.
right.
Yes, yeah, but I think, but think about it, that was also the early '80s, which was like
Right,
the '70s bleeding into the '80s,
right.
right?
Uh-huh.
But that wasn't going to be in 1988. You weren't going to see that.
Nah, you wasn't. That is true.
Okay. So for you guys, like, it's kind of like when I found out that like wrestling was fake, and I was like, and then you find out like maybe all these guys aren't that tough, or they aren't
Right.
who they claim to be. You know what I mean? So y'all, none of y'all are like when you find
Well,
out
they
like the
they
yeah,
exposed that on the Boondocks. I don't know if
right.
y'all they
Oh my
exposed that
God, geez.
with Games Delicious. Remember?
Yeah. I think if this was maybe if this happened in maybe 2004, maybe we'd be like, oh my goodness. But
Yeah.
Mhm,
Right.
in
Now.
2025, we've heard these stories and these things
Mhm.
going on for decades now. So it's
mhm,
not a shock to anybody. We've heard
mhm,
about artists having to do certain things to get where they need to go. And, that's always the biggest thing. I mean, we have to look at some of the people that make it big as artists, right? And you have to really think like, was that song really that good?
mhm,
Was
Mm,
Are they really that good of a talent? Or did they do something to get their song placed a certain place or to
mhm,
be in those rooms, right? Like, I
Mhm.
mean, you look at
true.
a lot of these up and coming guys, it's like, where'd you come from? So there's
Right.
some machine behind them, right? Pushing that.
Right.
But it was like, how did you get into that spot? You had to be, what is it? What they say, bumping elbows with somebody. So
Yeah, it was bumping more than elbows.
yeah, definitely more than elbows. But again, these I think artists and any like particular music and acting, they have to go into that room with non-negotiables. And if they don't have non-negotiables, they're going to do whatever it takes to get put on. And if it means doing something sexual, if nobody knows about it, what's the big deal? They have to reconcile that with themselves when they put their head down at night. But if it's not a public thing and they're going to get millions of dollars and have concerts and fans and this and that, I think many people would be willing to make those sacrifices.
well, especially if you're living in poverty at the time, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
exactly.
true.
mean, I'm gonna give you an example when it came to like we could go way back when it came to like Birdman, right? Like
Mhm.
Birdman was giving them guys like $10,000 a show
Mm,
and making super money off of them. But to them, $10,000 a show
right.
was I'm
Right.
coming from nothing. I'm getting $10,000, even though he
Right.
was beating them in the head. But to them, that was a
Right.
come
You're listening to the Kind Counseling Podcast. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now back to the show.
go to somebody that's living in, I don't have nothing but this song, and you telling me you want me to do this one act, and I could be, you giving me 500K or $1 million right now, and I could barely got food in my fridge.
Mm, that's a fair
Um,
point.
Unfortunately, that's how you manipulate people, right? And I think that's what a lot of them are doing, manipulating people that way.
Yeah. How much is your soul worth? I guess that's the question,
That's the
right?
real question.
I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, so so what should we take from all this? I guess like you said, a lot of this stuff is old news, but what should we take from all this? I mean, we're like fathers now. Nobody's a grandfather here, right? All right. We're fathers now. All right. So what should we take from all
Stay away from Diddy now.
this? well, he's staying away from you right now.
Mm.
Listen, I know I get a lot of flack for this. The father is a super important part of
Mm.
Right.
a child's life, boy or girl,
Yep.
right? And I'm sure if we were able to interview all those people who spoke up, all the victims, we're gonna get at least 75% of them don't have a relationship with their dad, right? Obviously, P. Diddy didn't have a dad. I'm sure Cassie doesn't have a father because if he does have a father, he needs to be arrested, okay?
Mm,
Because these individuals seem to me like they didn't have a place, a safe place that they
mm,
can go to
right.
and say, Dad, I have this problem.
Mm,
Because dad needs to come in and rest, even if he can't legally do anything in that moment, right?
right.
You should have a place where you can go to. And I think it's
Good
problematic
point.
in our society where these individuals basically live an entire lifetime. They don't have a dad, and they don't have that person. And it doesn't have to be a biological dad. It could be an uncle, it could be a grandfather, but someone who is a man that you respect, right? Who's going to put you on and pull your coat and let you know, these are the things that you need to do. This is how you need to behave in life. This is how you're supposed to conduct yourself, male or female, right? And if they don't have that, then when they meet a guy like P. Diddy or any of these individuals who are manipulative, they're gonna fall into the trap because they never were told the opposite. I'm praying that my daughter, when she sees a guy who's a bum, she's gonna recognize he's a bum because she knows that I'm not counterfeit. She's gonna be able to say, this is counterfeit because I got the real over here. My dad is the real, and I know this is a fake, this is a $3 bill in this guy.
Right. Well, I think I guess I just wrote down some names here. So yeah, Justin Bieber, the white girl who was on the show, who
Aubrey.
was talking about, I
Aubrey.
remember
Her name was
Aubrey.
Aubrey. Yeah, Aubrey.
Yeah, okay. Right. Even Usher and Cassie, right? All of them were very young people when they met up with Diddy, right?
Mhm.
And the girl Aubrey, she was on her way to law school, and her mother told her to go get involved with this, or this was some
Mhm.
contest
Mhm.
or whatever.
Mhm.
Right.
And then Justin Bieber's mom, I mean, I don't remember who he signed with or whatever, but wasn't he like 12, 13, 14, something like that?
Hmm.
And it's crazy to me that somebody will put a child that young in this kind of environment, just in general.
Because it
But
better.
that's
Good.
but again, we look at the music industry, and I thought of a skit again out of an album that says the biggest pimp in this world is they mama.
Mm.
Mm, mm,
Unfortunately, that happens a lot where you got these moms like, oh, here's my kid, make them a star, not knowing
Mhm.
you're giving the kid to the
To the
to the
devil.
person
Yeah.
to
right,
manipulate,
right,
abuse them.
right.
So the question I
Deshaun,
have
you
for
gonna
you,
say?
Tammy, are these
Huh?
kids Justin Bieber, where's his pops? Cassie, where's her
That's a good
pops?
question.
This girl Aubrey, I don't even know who she is. Where's her pops?
Right.
Right? Where are these men who are gonna say, wait, you're not gonna drop out of law school and become a rapper?
Right,
Like
right,
that's
Singer.
not happening.
right,
Somebody needs to step in and say these things. And Brother Al is right. Uh, I'm sure the mothers oftentimes are in financial straits, and this might be their meal ticket.
Hmm.
Right? There's
mm,
financial pressures, right?
right,
But that doesn't take the men off the hook because Aaliyah was raised by both her parents, but
right,
he was
right,
down with pimping out his daughter.
right.
So it's
Deshaun, you
not
want to jump?
always just the
Oh,
mom.
No, that's what that. No, no, no. That's what I want to say. No, he's right.
okay,
But
okay.
I mean, if we take this, if we step back and we look at this outside of the music industry, we see it in all these industries. We see it when it comes to sports. When we got our young black men are pushed into these um programs, and you don't know what's happening to them when they're in those programs. You see it happening to young women when they're going to some of these college, and you hear these stories about how these college coaches and these college recruiters are doing
Mm,
stuff to
yeah,
them.
right.
Um,
Or
you
being
heard,
a.
we've
Or
heard
be.
about it in gymnastics, right? We've
Hmm.
heard about those
Oh,
stories about
right,
them being in gymnastics. So
right.
again, the
Tennis.
people, there are people out there manipulating people that are in bad situations, saying, "Hey, I can make your situation better. Give me your kid, and I'm gonna make them whatever the next,
Right,
whatever, right? The next greatest swimmer. Next thing you know, your kid is doing whatever they're doing wherever they're doing it, and they're telling them this is the way you swim better."
Right.
right,
I'm
right,
just giving an example. We see this in numerous industries that's happening, man, and I think the people that they're preying on, they're doing this purposefully because they know they're in that type of financial bind and it's easier for them to manipulate them. I mean, why do you look at some of these programs that are being set up to streamline people through some of these, to streamline them through high school or D1s and AAUs and all that. A lot of these programs are set up in impoverished neighborhoods. I noticed that. I'm like, how come they got all these programs set up over here, but they don't got them set up over there? You know, because the community is they're trying to, and they're like, oh, we're trying to help the community. Are you? Or are you trying to suck that young black male or young black female or Hispanic male or female so you could take them wherever, right? It's borderline a type of trafficking, if you ask me.
That's interesting. Deshaun, I think you wanted to jump in?
Nah, I just you see it with the Knicks as well.
You said with the Knicks?
Yeah, you saw what Josh Hart did. You saw what he did. You saw what he did to Bronson the other day at the Cup. You saw what he did.
Oh,
He's trying to get to the finals. This brother want to do that on national TV. Come on, man. We don't need that.
Oh my God. We're gonna go to the next question.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. All right.
I don't know what that was about.
So Diddy is as the Haitian guy on social media would say, diddly.
Why are you gay?
So he's supposed to be out in, I guess, 3 years, right?
Mhm.
Does he have a future in the music industry?
To be honest with you, I don't know how more lawsuits don't come out as a result of this documentary. I mean, I'm talking about like not just being sued, but criminal charges. Because if he's raping these people, I mean, the guy said it that if, without using the word rape, that he was raped.
Right.
So and what's the statute of limitation on sexual assault? Right. So in
Right.
3 years, there could be a bevy of criminal charges that come out against him. And on top of that, first of all, who's going to ally themselves and their business and their reputation to P. Diddy? And what money is he going to have left? Now, I hope that he has money on some offshore account. Apparently, his house is in Florida in his mother's name, so he'll have those things. But I don't think he's going to be the same man in 3 years that he is when he walked into prison more than a year ago.
I think he gonna be just fine.
Me too. Me too.
I think he gonna come right back out and he gonna get on some executive producer something behind the scenes and he gonna be just fine. You know why? 'Cause
Really?
we got other people that done did it and they just fine.
Yeah.
Also, he's black, so there's that aspect.
Wow.
There is
Nah, but
no second.
look at Tekashi
chance.
6ix9ine. He just came out to Jake Paul yesterday, and he was labeled a rat, and now all of a sudden, people don't care. And also,
is he black?
No, but you got Gunna, who's also a rat, and look at him now. All you gotta do is make good. If he makes good music and people want to listen to it,
Okay, listen, being a rat is one thing. Being a rapist is another.
that is true. But remember, if you rape men, I think if he comes out saying he's a bisexual, I think like Brother Allen said, he'll be fine. I'm bisexual.
Well, a bisexual and a rapist are two different things, though.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did a DMX say on his first album that he was raping men? Was he fine after that?
Who's that?
Who?
I said, did a DMX say on one of his first albums that he was raping men when he was in jail? He was fine.
Wait, DMX was raping men?
He said that on one of his albums.
Okay, that's I never heard before.
I never heard that.
He was in jail. He said that. All I'm saying is, I don't think Diddy
I was listening to Kirk
be,
Franklin then.
I don't think Diddy will ever be on the level that he was.
Mm-hmm.
But financially, I think he'll be just fine because he'll be behind the scenes, back to the same shenanigans, you know what I mean, as he was before. When it comes to, learning how to manipulate people, manipulating artists. He's been manipulating artists for years.
So yeah, I doubt that. I just don't think. I think people are going to stay away from that. I mean, we're talking about. I mean, first of all, there's the video of Cassie. Let's just start with that.
Right.
That's in our minds forever, right? What he did. If someone decides to sign with P. Diddy after he gets out in 28, then they deserve everything that they get, right? Because we have enough information to know that this guy, at the very least, he's not going to pay you. Who's going to be stupid enough to do that?
I mean, that ain't stop people from hanging around, though.
But the thing, now we know. Listen, now we all know. It's all out there. We all know the deal. Are people really going to sign on the dotted line with P. Diddy?
Well,
if there's
Man, you
hope,
can't be surprised, man.
if there's
yeah.
hope that you're getting paid,
That
I
then
think they
then
will.
then we are a pathetic society. We're
No,
more
we
pathetic
are,
than I
and
believe.
we really
We
are. We really
are.
are.
Yeah, 100%.
We got Trump as our president. Yes, we are. We're pathetic. We are pathetic. Yo, the whole world laughs at America, and we know that. So
Well, I don't. I guess it remains to be seen. I mean, the other thing is also he's what 60 or near 60.
He's
Didn't he
pretty
get
close,
off?
like 55 now, right? He'll
Oh,
be
okay,
he'll be 58, let's just say, when he gets out, assuming he gets out.
right.
right. I mean, so that's probably another thing working against him too. Obviously, his age and music ministry. That was in
Yeah.
music ministry.
I mean,
Yes,
how much is he still making? I mean, he's still making royalties off of people too, right? I would assume they haven't
probably.
stopped that. So he's
Probably.
still making royalties off of Biggie, off of Mace, off of The Lox, off of, I mean, how many other artists?
Well, the thing what I didn't understand was, especially when that video came out, how come they didn't domestic violence wasn't one of the charges? Like, I mean, because that would
Because
definitely would have him doing more than 3 years.
they went for a RICO. That's why they went for a RICO charge instead
Okay,
of domestic violence. But
that's
they
crazy.
accused him like they accused him. I think the whole Cassidy video was like he didn't get charged for none of that, but instead he got charged, and that's what kind of confused me in a way
Right.
because I was confused with that. So I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
it's weird.
I never understood the whole RICO thing either. I
Yeah,
never understood why they were pushing a RICO charge against him. I didn't, and I'll say that I'm no lawyer or nothing, but I didn't, from what the stuff they're saying about Diddy, I didn't understand how that became
Right.
Well, with
a
the RICO
racketeering charge.
charge, the RICO charge essentially is this: you have used your organization, a company, Bad Boy in this case, to commit crimes. In this case,
Right.
the prostitution crime, right? And all the other crimes that happen under the umbrella of Bad Boy. It's a slick, it takes a lot of a skilled attorney to get you on a RICO charge. And
mm,
I don't think they were good enough. And I also think obviously the jury was tainted. I
mm,
mean, that girl was practically in love with him. And I'm not sure if that's the same girl. There's pictures going around saying that she posed with P. Diddy.
right.
So all it takes is one juror to
Hmm.
throw off the whole thing, right? Because it needs to be unanimous, right? So the whole trial obviously didn't turn out the way I was personally hoping it turned out. But I do have hope that in the next 3 years there's going to be some more dope that comes out, and they'll probably be trying for some other stuff.
Well, so then that goes back to what Deshaun was saying. So the fact that they didn't charge him with that, was this more of a humiliation kind of thing, don't mess with us kind of situation? You getting too big for your bridges, so we can put you in your place, as opposed to like the obvious charge, which was like domestic violence. Yeah, domestic violence. You know,
Well, how much time do you get for domestic violence?
that's a good question.
That's a
Somebody want
great
to
question.
Google that real quick.
I've never heard of anybody doing time. You slap up your wife, okay? It's on video, big deal. They give you
Oh,
probation. I don't
Yeah,
I don't think it's a
just
big deal.
just just been on probation a couple of times, so you.
okay.
Well, to kind of jump on what Fred is saying, well, maybe that's why they jumped for the RICO. Maybe they were trying to swing for the fences. They just
Oh,
didn't land. You would think that because I mean, if you do get found guilty on a RICO charge, you're looking at what, 50 years at
Life,
least?
life.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So maybe they just swung for the fences and didn't connect.
yeah.
that's it.
But
I
all
that
think
right.
may
it's that
open the
simple.
door.
All right. So I
But
just
that
looked
may,
up. Go ahead.
I
I
was
just
saying
looked
that
up
may
domestic violence.
I was saying it may open up the door though for later charges, like you were saying, since the RICO falls under him using a a company as an umbrella.
Hmm.
Maybe they can do something on a personal level later.
All right, so it says here that the punishment for domestic violence is a minimum of 2 years and up to 25 years in prison. I mean,
And he got
Listen,
40.
you
uh,
had
uh, uh,
evidence.
yes, but I don't think they were going to get him on that.
It wasn't because
At,
she already gave Cassidy like 30 million. She made out like a bandit.
she sure did. I believe it was 100 million because she sued him for four and she got 100. And then that opens up the window for everybody else who's like, what if she got that?
Mhm.
And that's why I think he's going to really face. Apparently, there are 100 lawsuits sitting on the
Yeah,
table right now.
yeah, that's what the
That's a lot of.
documentary
That's
said.
a listen. Even if he had $1 billion, and he doesn't have $1 billion liquid, so let's just
Right.
discuss that, right? How much does he have liquid? And
Mhm.
Mm.
whatever he has liquid, he's going to lose it
Right.
because even if 25 of those 100 cases go to trial, he's paying those people some money,
Yeah.
right? He's going to have to sell some assets.
Well, okay, so I got a last question for you guys, right? So once again, we're all fathers, right? Suppose you have a daughter or son who's supremely talented with singing, dancing, you know, are you allowing them to go anywhere near the music industry?
No.
I'd have a hard time. I'd have a hard
Gotcha.
time letting my daughter do that.
Yeah.
So if you have Michael Jackson in the basement, you're like you're not it's not happening.
Listen,
Well, listen.
we're old enough to have seen countless examples of young kids
Right.
going through the industry,
Mm,
music industry in particular, and they come out like chopped meat.
Yeah.
that's a good word.
In
Chop
all
meat.
genres.
Yeah.
All genres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
it doesn't.
genres.
This all genres of music. That's right, because it's a machine, right? They're
Mm,
gonna squeeze you for what you're worth. It doesn't matter what kind of family you come from. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, poor, rich. They're going to abuse you, use you, and then when they're done with you, you're just a shell of yourself.
Yeah.
mm, I'm trying to think of somebody who actually went into the music industry and came out okay. I'm trying. No, anybody come to mind
How would we know? How would
Yeah.
we know?
where they seem
How would we
sane,
know?
where they seem like
I mean,
you know.
let's take Dolly Parton for example. Dolly
Okay.
Parton has made beautiful music for
Yeah.
50 years. You think Dolly Parton is unscathed?
Mm.
Are there signs that she's not well? 100%.
I haven't seen Dolly Parton in like 30 years, so I
No,
don't know,
she's
man.
pretty no, she's around. She's still
Yeah.
making music,
Um,
but the fact, like for example, the fact that she's had the need to go through all this plastic surgery, and I don't know if you've ever seen
Mm.
pictures of her when she was younger. She was beautiful.
Right. Okay. I
Okay.
remember that. She did have a
Okay,
lot of
so
surgery.
did the music industry force her to make these drastic changes to her body?
Mm.
Right? And this is a simple thing. This is something that they all do, right? We're not even talking about the sexual and the drugs. I don't know her to be on drugs, but think about the other people who've been on drugs
Right.
or abused sexually.
Right. Right.
just the mental of it. Look at Lauren Hill.
Mm.
Well, she left quick.
Yeah. Look at Lil Kim.
But
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Okay.
that's what I'm
Listen,
saying. There's
yeah,
so many stories we know about this
Yeah.
happening. Man.
yeah, yeah.
We
And why
even
did they
look
talk
at
about her?
Who?
How come they didn't talk about Little Kim in the documentary? I found that to be very interesting because
oh
she
wow.
was
I didn't think about that.
instrumental in his
Hmm.
success.
Well, that's an excellent question.
That's an interesting question. Yeah, I didn't
Nobody
think
Yeah.
ever
about
I,
talked
that.
about her. She should have been one of the people they mentioned because her music. I mean, I remember when her album came out. It was so groundbreaking because you had a woman, female rapper, and we could say, I think, in fairness, she surpassed the Queen Latifahs and the MC Lights in terms of at least monetary success and
hmm.
Billboard success
Right.
as far as with that album when she came out.
Well, I know 50 Cent did say that he had about 6 more hours of documentary stuff that he didn't obviously couldn't fit into the time frame. So, and then also, who knows if she isn't getting some money from Diddy or something, so she's not willing to talk. I mean, I
Right.
don't know, but yes, I would agree with you in terms of what she looked like before and after is, cautionary
She's
tale.
still touring. She's still touring, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
She
she
needs to
must
stop. She
be.
needs to
So,
stop touring.
but if she's touring and she's performing those songs, you would assume that would still be under the Bad Boy umbrella somewhere, right? I mean, you still got to pay the piper to sing if you
Mm.
made it
That's
under that
that's
label.
interesting.
Oh,
That's interesting.
maybe that's why.
All right. All right. So, any last thoughts about Mr. Diddy or the documentary before we stop?
They could have done a better job on the documentary, specifically the documentary
How
itself.
how how what you think could have been done differently?
I think you needed. I think it seemed to me watching it very one-sided. I think they could have had a few people give some type of pushback. Not saying that we need to push back, but I think that would have made it better if you had some other voices saying, showing like maybe just other things that he was involved and into that could kind of paint a broader image of him instead of just this one image. Because I'm sure there's things in there that they didn't touch. It just seemed like it was kind of like everybody just throwing tomatoes at one person, right? And most documentaries, you don't normally do that. You kind of show a broader scope of exactly what's going on. And that's what I thought they should have did, like just a broader scope and his actual every day-to-day life and what he actually went through, and not just he was abusing this and did this and did that. That's just me when it comes to documentaries.
Well, I
So,
think it's a great point, but there are two things that to consider. One, are there people out there willing to risk their reputation
well,
defending this
exactly.
Mm,
monster?
Right.
That's number
Well,
one. And two, is there anything good to say about him? Because
mm,
if there's
well,
nothing good to say about him, there's no other side.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I like documentaries that give a broader image. That's just me. I like documentaries that give a broader image and
Understood.
leaves you to be the judge at the end of it. You understand? I felt like going into this, it was already a judgment and it didn't you're just watching from like the outside. I like documentaries that gives you information and then leaves you to be the judge of what you feel is the moral basis of what we're giving you the information on. And to me, that one didn't do that. And that's the only
Well,
thing gripe I had about it was the way it
well,
was
well,
done, not the information.
well, here's the thing. We all agreed that we've known about this guy being a monster, right?
Right.
It's very difficult to now get
Right.
people that come out and say, you know what? Yeah, he raped people. Yeah, he beat people up. Yeah, he had potentially several people killed. But you know what? He's such a great dad. You know,
Well, he wasn't a great dad.
it can be a hard sell.
Right.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But I think like you hit the nail on the head, right? Which is that who's gonna come out now and say, nah, he was a good dude, man. Like
Nobody,
I
Yeah.
don't even know what y'all talking
nobody,
about. Right?
nobody.
You know.
And he listen. At the end of the day, I think he really does have a problem, right?
Mm,
And I think Al brought it up earlier that the drug use when that started, that may have taken everything
right.
to
Yeah.
the to the abyss, right? He was
Right.
a bad guy before, and then you introduce this new problem, and now he becomes like uncontrollable,
Mm.
Mm,
And a
mm,
lot of money.
and then
right.
you wrap it up with a lot
Bad
of money.
combination.
It's
Right.
a terrible
Yeah.
combination.
All
Mhm.
right. All right, fellas. So next week.
Who's
Woody
next?
Allen, Woody Allen.
Woody
Woody
Allen
Allen.
next week.
Oh, that's all. I seen a documentary on him that was done that was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Woody, it was
I
good. Good. What do you mean by good?
Well, it was done well. I don't think it
Oh,
wasn't good. It
okay.
was done well, you
Oh,
know.
okay. All right.
But he's another one that
Mm.
Right.
needs to be,
Eh,
yeah.
Right. Right. Well,
but
we got we got
interesting.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, just like P. Diddy has his fans, there are loyal people who support Woody Allen despite knowing the
Of
facts.
course. Of
Hmm.
course. Right. Right. Like Harvey Weinstein.
Mm.
Right?
And this
So
lady who just died, Diane Keaton, she defended him till her death.
Mm.
all
Wasn't
right,
that
man.
another dude that left the country that was doing something like that, an actor or something?
You're
Who was
thinking
doing
of
what?
Roman Polanski, the
Oh.
That who
director.
was? Yeah, I
He
think
Roman
fled
so.
the
Polanski.
country, didn't he?
He's never
Yeah,
come back to the country. The
Right.
second he steps foot on the U.S., he's gonna get arrested.
Wow.
Right. Right.
but he's still making movies or whatever that's played up
He won
here.
an Academy Award in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that says
What?
a lot about our society.
And then where's Russell Simmons at right now?
In
Bali.
Bali
Oh, in Bali.
chilling.
Oh, see, he ain't never coming back neither, I don't think.
No, he's never,
But
never.
they had charges against him or just
Oh
accusations?
yeah, yeah. They had plenty. They had some charges against Russell Simmons,
Okay.
but
All
he's
Yeah,
yeah. He,
right.
they
All
got a
right, fellas,
non-extradition
man.
clause,
Huh?
right? I
What'd you
think
say?
Bali has like a no extradition or whatever. Like you can't go get them from there.
Right, exactly.
mm,
Probably, yeah.
You got to pick the right countries, man.
yep.
I'm just saying. All right, man. So I appreciate you guys coming on, man, and shedding
Thank
some
you for
light
having
on this,
us.
giving some feedback. Next scandal, I'm gonna call you all so we can chop it up again. All
Cool.
right, man. Y'all have a good. Hey, y'all have a Merry Christmas,
Merry
man.
Christmas, y'all.
It was
Merry
a
All right,
pleasure
let's
Christmas.
seeing you guys.
let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks.
Yes. All
Let's
right.
go.
Uh,
Yes.
take care.
Man.
All right, y'all.
If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before to come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting.